It is not 116 right now. That's what it was yesterday here in Laverne. But that is what it will be later today. So who do we have on the line so far? We've got Tanisha, Jerry, Mr. Ross, Elaine, Mafus, Yashika, Benita, Ann, Calvin, TC, young superstar. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be dispensing financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed decision on what you are going to do. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? What is your vehicle of choice? Take action. Stay focused. And do not get distracted. There's so many things out there that can minimize your risk. And that's the most that you can ask for. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with a couple of things. You know, I've been out of the loop for a week, so it seems like I have missed out on a whole lot. I actually feel like I'm way, way behind. Missed out on a week's worth of crypto news. I was unplugged. Went on vacation with the family, and I was complaining. You know, I went up to San Francisco, and it was already hot in L.A., so I packed like I was going to L.A. weather. I mean, it's the 4th of July. It's summertime. And I haven't been to San Francisco since I was a kid. It's been a long time. And I didn't take into account the Bay. It ain't like L.A. In fact, to me, San Francisco was like a East Coast city transplanted onto the West Coast. It's like a whole different country to me. But anyways, needless to say, it was cold. We were wearing jackets every single day. I mean, it was overcast. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, don't get me wrong. But I was not packed for it at all. And the kids were like, yeah, they were ready to come back. We weren't supposed to come back till today. So we came back a day early. And we came back on the wrong day. I woke up yesterday morning with jeans and a jacket on. Came to California, still California. Came back to L.A., and it was 100 because we left at like 4 in the morning. By the time we got to the valley, it was 105 before 9 a.m. 105. 8:45 in the morning. And I was like, uh-oh. Got home. By the time the afternoon, it was 116 degrees that it hit. Some were telling me it got to 117. This is Las Vegas weather. Phoenix, Arizona. You know, the last time I remember it getting this hot, I think was before my youngest was born, maybe 15 years ago. I remember it getting above 115 degrees and not going to Death Valley or Bakersfield or something. Just right where I am in Laverne and the Inland Empire. And even in by the coastline, it was still over 100. 104, 105 on the beach. Good grief. Anyways, I came back on the wrong day. Should have stayed one more day. But we're back and we're ready to get into some crypto news. You know, I saw Ant-Man and Wasp yesterday, and they had a cryptocurrency reference in it I thought was interesting. So you got to watch the movie to hear that. Even my son looked at me when they mentioned cryptocurrency. Thought that was funny. Also, we loved it. Ant-Man and Wasp was featured in San Francisco, so my youngest one recognized some of the locations. He got all excited about that. He was like, I was there. So now that we are back to news on crypto, you guys, I hope, even though I haven't been doing crypto talks, I hope you guys have been keeping up on the news, been reading it by yourself and staying plugged in. I have not, so I'm behind. So it's time to get caught up. So we're going to start with, let's see, Vitalik Buterin. He is the co-founder of Ethereum. I call him the little internet gangster. He looks like he needs to have a couple sandwiches, but he's always running his mouth and calling people out all the time. I think it's funny. Might be the Russian in him. Thought he was going to go to blows with self-proclaimed Satoshi Nakamoto Craig Wright at an event. But he has something to say. So let's read what Vitalik is all about. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin has stated that he would like to see centralized cryptocurrency exchanges burn in hell as much as possible. While conceding that such a time may yet be a while off, he made the remarks while speaking at the TC Sessions Blockchain 2018 event on July 6 in Zug, Switzerland. Responding to a question from the host on whether decentralized exchanges will someday gain greater market share, the centralized exchanges, Vitalik replied, I definitely personally hope centralized exchanges burn in hell as much as possible. In practice, particularly on the fiat to crypto side, it is very difficult to decentralize because you ultimately are interfacing with the fiat world. And the fiat world is one that only has basically centralized gateways. There are valuable services being provided there that are very hard to decentralize. Vitalik went on to predict that in terms of trading cryptos for other cryptos, DEX solutions will someday become the most desirable because they offer a simple and straightforward user experience devoid of registration, web interfaces, and account openings. In his opinion, the crypto world will see more and more such exchanges coming into existence. Stop right there. I have not heard of DEX solutions. Have you guys heard of DEX solutions? I'll have to look that up. But he thinks that that's going to be the future of exchanges where you don't open up an account. Straight crypto to crypto exchange. He did, however, express uncertainty regarding which option will be chosen by large-scale traders, professional traders, and high-frequency traders. Ultimately, in his view, even if centralized exchanges do not go away altogether, the rise of decentralized exchanges can only be a good thing because it removes what he described as a king-making power from exchanges. Explaining this point, he said, we can really take away this stupid king-making power that these centralized exchanges have, where they have this ability to just decide which tokens become big by deciding to list them, and then charging these crazy $10 million to $15 million listing fees. The more we can get away from that world and into something which actually satisfies the blockchain values of openness and transparency, the better. I agree with him on that. It will be recalled that in March 2018, Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by volume, announced that it is finalizing plans to open a decentralized exchange. Huobi also announced in June that it plans to eventually convert its entire wireless platform to decentralized exchange. And what may be a growing trend with cryptocurrency exchanges, OKEX also recently went public with its plans to create a decentralized exchange platform, as many analysts continue to advocate for adoption of the DEX model. Interesting. I wonder how the regulators are going to handle that. especially in the United States. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one just to see how that, because if you have a decentralized, that means that, are you getting away from the KYC? Are you getting away from that? And if you are, then you're going into have regulatory problems. But if the exchange itself is anonymous, then how do we know the owners of the exchange don't run off with everybody's money? Or is the exchange really decentralized where nobody controls it? What happens if it gets hacked? Then who's responsible for the recourse? Or can a decentralized exchange actually be hacked in the first place? Who controls the wallets? Who's taking the fees? The whole point of, do you guys know how an exchange actually works? See, because there's profit in opening up an exchange. And that profit is, you are paying a transaction fee every time you sell and you buy. That's how the exchanges make so much freaking money. There's a microtransaction on every single one. That's why those guys, I read that article before I left, in Russia became a billionaire because he opened up an exchange. And the exchange made $3 billion just off the transactions. Well, a decentralized exchange, that means in there can't be any fees. There can't be transaction fee. Because ultimately somebody is going to take the loot. Follow the money. Now, maybe I don't fully understand it yet, what a decentralized exchange actually means. So I'm going to make sure I learn more about that as I see more articles come out about how a decentralized exchange works, who controls it, who's running it. If there's no fees, then that's ultimately going to be the best exchanges you want to be on. Because he's right. You've got companies that will pay $5-10 million just to get their coin listed on their exchange. Now that's pay to play. It's like the BBB. And that's not exactly fair. That's another form of market manipulation. So if you've got the inside scoop that a company's about to drop $10 million to get their coin listed, then you can make sure you stack up on that coin before it gets listed on a certain exchange. That's like insider information. All right, let's move on to another article here. Let's see. Did I want to? Austria. Austria brings crypto to the masses. Now, this is interesting because as a country, the government is bringing it to their people. Imagine the United States government doing that. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, IOTA, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Komodo. If you live in Austria, you can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, IOTA, Ripple, Dash, Komodo, and Bitcoin Cash at over 400 post office branches across the country. Wow. Imagine our post office allowing us to do that. Another 1,300 post partners are also selling cryptocurrencies through a new initiative by Vienna-based Bitpanda, one of Europe's leading retail exchanges for buying and selling cryptocurrencies. Bitpanda To Go allows customers to enter their postal codes to find the nearest branch. There are over 240 locations in Vienna alone and 176 locations in Linz. Purchases are in 3 denominations, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, or 500 pounds. Customers just need an email address to buy their preferred cryptocurrency with cash at any post office branch in Austria. The cryptocurrency is then sent directly to an integrated wallet. The Austrian Post is focusing on expanding financial services for its customers to remain relevant and maintain strong earnings. Look at that right there. See, they're not going the way of Blockbuster when Netflix came on the scene. They're saying, hey, this thing is happening whether we like it or not. We better get with the program if we want to remain relevant and maintain strong earnings. You'd think the United States Post Office would do the same thing. The move is also positioning cryptocurrencies for mainstream adoption. The Austrian Post has developed a close-knit network of postal service points that have created a competitive advantage at a time when post offices are looking to expand into other verticals. Its primary objective is to respond to customer needs with relevant products and services. The company, which posted a 2.3% increase for 2017 over the previous year, forecasts a continued 5% annual decline in addressed letter mail volumes, while double-digit growth rates are expected in the Austrian parcel market, thanks to the e-commerce boom. Meanwhile, the U.S. Postal Service reported revenue of $69.6 billion for fiscal year 2017, a decrease of $1.8 billion compared to the prior year. The company reports that the lower revenues were largely driven by accelerated declines in first-class and marketing mail volumes. Then get with the program, USPS. Bring crypto in this space and make you some freaking money. It's not rocket science here. Or continue to keep losing money. I mean, it's your choice. All right, let's see here. Other news. I don't want to do Satoshi just yet. I'm going to save that one for last. Blockchain could change everything for energy. I'm going to do that one tonight. Let's see. Look at my other computer here. We've got John McAfee. John McAfee. I mean, I respect what he's accomplished. I respect his vision, because you cannot have accomplished what he's done without having vision. However, I do not want him to be the post child and the face of cryptocurrency. He's not the guy. He's eccentric on the 10th scale. You know, if you want to use somebody eccentric, then use Sir Richard Branson. He's got his own private island that he has blockchain conventions on. But John McAfee, he's an entertaining character, and he made the news, and this is actually old. It's from July 2nd. Crypto troll John McAfee claims hit BTC killed people. Calls for boycott. Now, the last time John McAfee made the news was a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, where he claimed somebody tried to kill him, and he was in a coma for 3 days, supposedly. Now, there was a picture of him in the hospital in a coma. Personally, I think it might have to do more with whatever drug binge he was on at the time, and he overdosed. But who knows? Who am I to say? He claims it was an assassination attempt. Anyways, here we go. Cybersecurity pioneer turned crypto troll John McAfee is at it again, and this time he's setting his sights on HitBTC, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. McAfee began his war on HitBTC last week when, without clear provocation, he called for a boycott on the Hong Kong-based exchange, which has more than $270 million in daily trading volume. The crypto exchanges have become the thing that we have originally fought against. Their power is immense. HitBTC, for example, has increased suffering for millions of poor people who cannot afford the minimum buy-in since it is greater than their monthly income, he tweeted. Boycott them. McAfee seems to be referring to the withdrawal fees that HitBTC, like virtually all other exchanges, charge when customers remove assets from the platform. Okay, so what he's saying there is, and do not use exchanges as your wallets. So what he's saying is, if you're trading and you're ready to move your currency from the platform to your own wallet, they're charging you an insane fee. I don't know off the top of my head what that fee is, how much they're charging you to move it from the platform. But he says that they're charging you more than what people can afford. So I can't give an opinion on that. I mean, that's how they make their money. If you don't want to be down with that, then choose another exchange. But all the exchanges do it, so I don't know what he's crying about on this one. So McAfee seems to be referring to the withdrawal fees, like virtually all the other exchanges, charged when customers remove assets from the platform. Though his tweets are tellingly vague about the precise nature of his grievance, the provocateur, who claims to have recently been the victim of a failed assassination attempt, continued his verbal assault throughout the weekend, vowing to be HitBTC's worst enemy until the company takes unspecified steps to address the unspecified issue. On Saturday, HitBTC issued a formal response to McAfee, thanking him, perhaps cheekily, is that a British term? For taking the discourse to another level and explaining the company's policy on calculating withdrawal fees. The exchange further invited him to convey his advice on how to implement an algorithmic solution that would render its withdrawal fees less subject to the price volatility of the associated assets. Thank you for being the voice of the crypto community, the note concluded. We share your values. McAfee, it seems, disagreed as evidenced by his reply. Your algorithm killed an unknown number of people. You tell me what algorithm recompenses these deaths. You have unjustly subjugated Docademic. What? Tell me, sir, what do you owe to them? Docademic deserves your highest priority to make things just for your past offenses. Is he drunk? Sometimes you wonder when people tweet stuff, are they lucid? While it's possible that McAfee, who until recently charged $105,000 per tweet to promote ICOs, is truly concerned about the plight of HitBTC's less fortunate customers, the saga appears to be a dramatic ploy to plug Docademic, an ICO token referenced throughout his tweet storm. I see what's going on. McAfee figured out another way to tweet about an ICO without directly tweeting about the ICO. Despite claiming that he would no longer promote ICOs due to pressure from U.S. regulators, McAfee has been shilling this token on his Twitter account for several weeks, even claiming that it could hit $10 per unit by next year, up from a present value of 25 cents. Think about that for a second. Right now it's worth 25 cents. If this token actually goes to $10, and let's say you dropped 20K at 25 cents. I mean, I'm not pulling my calculator out to do the math, but you bought $20,000 worth of this coin at 25 cents, and 1 year later it's worth $10. Do you realize how much money you have? What if you had put $100,000 on this coin? What if you only did $1,000 on this coin at 25 cents, and then it goes to $10 a coin a year later? You see how everybody wants to be a Bitcoin millionaire. And I said it. I said 2017 was the year of Bitcoin. 2018 is the year of the altcoins. You don't have to be a Bitcoin millionaire. Any of these other coins can make you a freaking fortune if you know what you're doing. Now, it's not saying that this will go to $10 per coin, because this is my first time ever hearing about it. But John McAfee is pumping it out there like it is. But let's just say, and I always like to use worst case scenario, let's just say he fails by 90%. And it doesn't go to $10 a coin. It goes to $1 a coin. You think that might still be a good return on your investment? So you bought at 25 cents and now it's worth $1? Heck yeah. So something I might want to pay attention to, but he's also been known, some of the coins he's been posting have been scam coins. And the things never went off the ground. That's why I am all about the Green X. We are mining our own freaking coin. 12.5 billion coins in the first 6 months. 2,000 to 4,000 machines mining those coins each. You're looking at... man, I can't say it publicly because I'll get in trouble. You do the math. Divide 12.5 billion coins to 4,000 machines. Projected to hit the market at 2 cents a coin. That's when it hits the exchange. And you see what it's worth just right there. And then you see that go from 2 cents to 5 to 10 cents to 15 cents a coin. Cha-ching. I mean, you do the math. All right. Let's continue here with John McAfee. Despite... Oh, yeah, that's done with there. All right. Last article that I want to cover. Satoshi Nakamoto. This is interesting about Satoshi. Mainstream media believes Satoshi Nakamoto is back. Why? I mean, if you've studied in the history of Bitcoin up to this point, there's been numerous different characters that people have claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Even Craig Wright himself claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto. On our Cryptogenics, we have one of our training lessons about who is Satoshi Nakamoto, and it goes over, maybe 4, 5, 6 different individuals who it could be. It might even be a lady. It might even be a group, a business out of the UK. It might even be a government. It might even be the CIA. Who knows? This reminds me of if you've gone to see the movie Ready Player One. And I know it's a video game movie about, virtual reality. And I love it because I was a kid in the 80s. So all those old school video games, the 80s references, I got it. Plus I love video games, and I'm really into that tech stuff, virtual reality, augmented reality, where it's going in the future. So I thought it was interesting. But the creator of the Oasis, and that's the virtual reality world, he dies. That's the whole premise of the movie. And everybody starts studying him like he's a cult figure. They study and know every aspect of the man's life, like an idol or something. And that's kind of what's taking place with Satoshi Nakamoto in the crypto world. He's this mysterious figure that nobody knows who he is. So the nerds in this space look to him like he's a crypto god or something, and want to know every little aspect of who he is, his existence. I even saw people, he's from the future that brought this technology to us to save humanity. Now, here's one thing that is not disputed by facts. When I started to do my research in the crypto space, because I was skeptical, I thought it was a bunch of internet gamer nerds playing with Monopoly money online. I didn't think there was anything real to it. And then when people that I knew started making a whole lot of money off of it, and I started asking them questions, and they couldn't answer my questions, they had no understanding of what this was either. They were just making money. I said, if I'm going to invest in this space, then I need to know what this is all about. I need to do some research. And there's 2 things that I discovered that shook me to my core, changed my core. I mean, I retired from MLM to come into this space. Completely changed my career path. And those 2 things were that I figured out. Number 1, that cryptocurrency represents the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. It eliminates all barriers of entry for anybody that wants wealth generation. No longer can a person say that they're being held back by race, sex, ethnicity, education, language, what country you're born in. All you need is a cell phone and access to the internet and $5, and you can be in this space and prosper if you're willing to learn. The only thing is, are you willing to learn? You can't even say, well, I don't even have the resources to invest. I don't have $10,000 or $50,000 like the big boys do. I started with $100 and turned that into a small fortune. I read about a guy who took 2 dimes and turned 2 dimes into $800,000 in 9 months because he knew how to invest it in what ICO to take a part of. If you're willing to learn, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are, you have the ability to completely change your financial life, and there's nothing, the government can't stop you, the banks can't stop you, the rich can't stop you. The second thing that I learned that shook me to my core is that blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology that makes cryptocurrency possible, is the greatest invention since the internet. It is going to disrupt every single major industry on the planet today. Every single one. You guys think it's funny, I always talk about the sex industry about once or twice a month. Every industry. It is going to have an impact on humanity as the introduction of agriculture did. It is that big. And most people don't even realize it's taking place. That scared me to death because I realized that I am alive, of sound mind and body at this time. 41 years old. I can't believe I'm turning 42 next week. It wasn't there for my parents' generation. My children are too young to take advantage of this. If it has to be, it is up to me. We have a short window of opportunity to take advantage of this. We are living on the vanguard of a new age. A new industrial revolution is taking place right now. And we're the early adopters, like Mahfouz says. And most people don't even, it's like the Matrix. They don't even know what's taking place. The wealthy do. We don't. And there is no way I'm missing out. You have to take action. This is why I'm so passionate. And the man behind all of this, or entity, was Satoshi Nakamoto. So when you hear people having a cult-like following of this figure, Satoshi, because in the next 50 years and 100 years, documentaries, movies, statues will be erected of this individual because of his impact on human society. I am not speaking in hyperbole here. I am not being a hype guy. This is real. Now, let's read the article because I went off on a tangent there. That's why I take this so seriously. And let me put the link to this in the chat box. That's why I try to get my family to understand this, to engage in it. I can't be the only one. Mainstream media believes Satoshi Nakamoto is back. Should Satoshi Nakamoto ever return, it would probably be bad for Bitcoin, but great for clicks. The mainstream media would have a field day, just as they did when they identified Craig Wright as Bitcoin's creator. The search for Satoshi and the quest for clickbait intensified this week, after Bloomberg asserted that Bitcoin's founder is back, and writing a book no less. Satoshi Nakamoto is everywhere and nowhere. Everyone and no one. Most Bitcoin supporters acknowledge that Satoshi did the right thing by slinking off into the digital wilderness in 2010. but will also confess to being fascinated by how his return would play out. Personally, I hope he never returns. I hope whoever the real Satoshi Nakamoto is never reveals themselves. Personally, I believe that that would be the best thing for crypto. You know that old saying, you never want to meet your idols because they will let you down every time? People are people. People are human. And sometimes when you meet your mentors or your idols, you know, and their flaws are revealed to you, they're kind of knocked off your pedestal a bit. I don't think Satoshi Nakamoto returning would be or would do any good for crypto. I think it would do more harm than good. Personally. Let him be the myth and stay out there in the universe. But anyways, Satoshi Nakamoto was everywhere and nowhere. Everyone and no one. And I just had a thought right now. Because someone just shot me a text, wanted me to expand on what I just stated a minute ago about why I'm so passionate about crypto. I'm going to be going swimming later because it's going to be freaking hot. I will do a Facebook Live and I'll have the camera on. And I'm going to talk about, especially since we're going into the second half of 2018, why you should take this seriously. Kind of the same topic I had at the Bitcoin boot camp in Chicago. Why you should take this seriously and not just brush it aside. I'm going to share why. I'm going to go into detail. I'll do a Facebook Live on that later. Alright, Satoshis, fake Toshis, false prophets. In the 8 years since Satoshi left, many fake Satoshis or fake Toshis have sprung up. Jesus Christ warned that imitators and false prophets would appear claiming to be the Son of God, and something similar has occurred with Ersatz Satoshis. Some guy named Cobra tweeted, if Satoshi ever came back into the Bitcoin community and expressed his likely opinions on scaling and mining centralization, I'm certain he would be attacked, chased out, and bullied by the Blockstream cult. No doubt about it, but I eagerly await his return. You know, that reminds me of, if you know the Bible, and you know the division between Judaism and Christianity, how we share the Old Testament. But when Jesus was born, he brought a New Testament. Now, the Old Testament foretold of the Son of God coming. And when he finally did come, now you've got, will the people accept this individual as the Son of God? The Jewish scholars did not. Because the Jewish scholars were like, the Son of God is going to come to save us. And at the time of his coming, the Roman Empire had their boot heel on Israel and the Jews. And Jesus, proclaiming himself to be the Son of God, in their eyes was in no position to overthrow the emperor, Caesar, to free mankind. But Jesus said, I didn't come to free you from the Romans. I came to free you from sin, to have eternal life. There's a difference here. That's not what they expected. And it was also an overthrow of their authority. So the authority figures of the time said, there's no way we're going to accept Jesus as our king. And they attacked him. Even Pontius Pilate was like, what are you so vehement? What is the biggest threat? He's no threat to you. Yet they realize him as the biggest threat because of his ideas. Now, I don't want to go way on a whole tangent here, but they didn't accept him as Christ. They're still waiting for Christ to come, while Christians are waiting for the second coming. So when Christ comes the second time, Christians will see that as the second coming. Jews will see it as the first coming if they accept the second coming as Christ anyway. Good morning, Lashana. So, what does that have to do with Satoshi? Well, we look at human nature. If somebody moves any Bitcoin out of Satoshi's wallet to prove that Satoshi's here, for the last 8 years, the Bitcoin community, the big shots, the Craig Wrights of the world, the Vitalik Buterins, the guys who are seen as crypto gods that go to the blockchain expos in their Lambos and have parties on their yachts, and they're seen as the figures of the entire crypto community. And if Satoshi says something that is different than what they believe the direction or course of it should be, will they accept that? No. Why? Because it's human nature to want to keep the power and control that you have. And anything seen as a threat to that will be shunned. It will be civil war. It's like you're asking the king to step down because, Satoshi's here. Will they do that willingly? Heck no. Too much money involved. That's why I say I hope that whoever the Satoshi is stays gone. Yeah, move the crypto if you want to prove that you're still out there. But don't say nothing. Don't be public on this. But let me continue this article. The website NakamotoFamilyFoundation.org is a plain text affair as minimalist as the cypherpunk mailing list where Satoshi's writings first surfaced. Bloomberg leads the list of MSM outlets touting the possibility of the site being Satoshi's doing. So I'm going to put the link to this site so that you guys can follow and judge for yourself whether you think this is the real deal or not. So I'm not going to cover that website right now, but I will continue on this article. So Bloomberg believes that this site is Satoshi's doing, and that the 21-page PDF on the website, the number of pages perhaps being symbolic, contains the beginnings of his forthcoming book. What? There are many reasons why the screed is unlikely to be the work of Satoshi, and yet the mere possibility, no matter how remote, has provided the cryptosphere with its latest Satoshi fix. It says Duality purports to be an excerpt from Satoshi's forthcoming book. Duality, the supposed new writings of Satoshi Nakamoto, is an intriguing document. At 21 pages, it's more than double the length of the original Bitcoin white paper, and far more solipsistic than anything the confirmed Satoshi has ever written. Statistically speaking, it is almost certainly a hoax, and yet there's just enough of a hook to the writing, including supposed tidbits on Bitcoin's origins and inspirations, to lure hungry Satoshi cultists in. That's the word right there. So Satoshi cultists. You got to be careful with this, because you can go and we have this term in network marketing. When you learn about edification, how to edify a leader, but edifying can quickly turn into be deifying a leader. And then the leader believing their own BS, their own hype. That's the worst thing. I see it happen all the time. Where a leader, they start making some money. They start being the top dog of their company. They walk into a convention and they're treated like a rock star. Everybody wants a picture with them. Everybody's pulling them aside. Everybody wants their attention. And they start believing that hype. And then one day they walk down the street and wonder why people aren't dragging them off the street. They believe their own hype. It's like a cult environment. Don't fall into that trap. So anyways, the Satoshi cultists. Now, this puzzle that's here, you got to go to the website or the link to this article to see. I don't understand any of this. This is all nerd algorithmic language. I don't get it. But it says this puzzle is a simple cryptogram. Simple, it's foreign language to me. Each letter corresponds to a number. Rather self-explanatory. Fill each blank at the bottom will be revealed the title of the 2 series of the books. Excerpt does not include the names, so for those that can't spare 30 seconds of pure fun, you are better off solving it. The cryptogram devised the author of Duality. Okay. Whoever composed the website has certainly enjoyed themselves, going so far to create a cryptogram puzzle for readers to solve. The difficulty with discrediting a hoax or authenticating an original is that no one ever knew Satoshi Nakamoto, not in the real world sense at least, and thus his digital footprint, primarily his white paper, mailing list writings, and Bitcoin Talk forum postings are all there is to go on. Anyone who has done their homework could imitate Satoshi, his spelling, punctuation, grammatical quirks, and cogent academic tone. So it's like if you guys saw Ready Player One, there was in the Oasis, which is a virtual reality world, there's a library of everything about what's the guy's name who created the Oasis? I forgot the dude's name. But there is a whole library about him, his entire world, everything about him in his entire life that people can go through. So, same thing is here. The white paper that's public. So it's easy for people to try to imitate what he was all about. Now, some parts of Duality ring true, but the crypto community is skeptical. The trouble with analyzing the work of supposed Satoshis is that it simply encourages more copycats, like fixating on school shooters. Yeah? But paradoxically, debunking them calls for forensically scrutinizing their writings, despite the shot of publicity this gives to all Satoshi wannabes. The Nakamoto Family Foundation website begins. Announcing the first excerpt to a literary work consisting of 2 parts. The excerpt is provided. I wanted to include it as a brief glimpse of history, even for those that can't read the full book. I wanted to make this available to everyone, a short story, if you will, with some of the most brought up questions and answers. I wanted the people and the facts to be known, or as much of it. I'm still saving most for the books, the best parts hopefully. There will be few new names and individuals appearing throughout the book in any case, as it is a story about my personal life. Okay. Anyone conversant with Satoshi's body of work will note that the writing does not feel consistent with that of Bitcoin's creator. Gone are his trademark double spacings and in our American spellings, albeit with an explanation for the change of style, typos, and a sudden willingness to position himself at the center of the story. The original Satoshi was notoriously shy about answering remotely personal questions, meticulous about proofing his work, and brushed off all attempts to understand his origins, motivations, and character. Now, he's apparently willing to tell all or as much as he can without doxing himself. I still take joy in finding mistakes, be it in code or in writing. Writes Duality's author several paragraphs after misspelling the word proficiency. The Bitcoiners are not impressed. Over the years, the Bitcoin community has endured its share of fake Toshis as well as writings such as this effort, all purporting to be the words of the real Satoshi. One commenter who's given the latest Satoshi claim short thrift is Nick Carter, who tweeted, "For some reason, even though Satoshi is known as a clear and elegant writer, none of the Satoshi imitators bother to write well. This document is horrifically written." Okay, he says, I mean, come on. Imagine Satoshi writing this gibberish. The real Satoshi knew about comma splices. He went on to say, never mind false alarm. It's okay, guys. His style has changed. How convenient. A common affliction to completely lose your grasp of the English language. So sad. So if Satoshi is still alive, he will be aware that much of his enduring mystery can be attributed to his prior refusal to reveal remotely incriminating information. Duality lays bare such details as the reason for choosing the Satoshi name, his default time zone, and why he chose his original writing style. It's an interesting piece of work, but it would take a brave man or a desperate media organization to stake their reputation on it being the work of Satoshi Nakamoto, especially when the real Satoshi could simply sign a message with one of his original keys or move a coin from his wallet, adding a message to the return field confirming Duality to be his au revoir. Until such a time, this and all other claims to be Satoshi must be assumed fake. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I agree. I agree with what that says. I do not believe that this is Satoshi Nakamoto or group or whatever. I think it's a fake. And I think you're going to see many more of these. And I wouldn't spend too much time on trying to figure out who Satoshi is, because it really doesn't matter. What he created was open source. It belongs to everybody now. It is not his. So the world of crypto is whatever we decide to make it to be at this point. It doesn't matter what his original intent was anymore. Got to understand that. So it doesn't matter. Would Satoshi really agree with this? It doesn't matter. It's open source without an instruction manual. It's like virtual reality. You know, you create the world, but you can do whatever you want in the world. It's whatever you create. That's why I love that movie, Ready Player One. I think that's a groundbreaking movie for those who understand what the future is about to bring. It is so more, it's like the Matrix. I like that kind of stuff. I don't talk about it too much publicly. Only to my private friends. I have conversations about the Matrix and duality and, you know, virtual reality, where we're going in the future. Everything's headed that way. It's exciting to me. So anyways, that is it for today. This is my first crypto talk in a week. I feel like I am way, way behind. But second half of this year, I am putting my foot on the gas like never before, because we are still in the sweet spot, the oasis zone, before the masses come in and it's too late. So what's taking place today? 2 hours from now, I will be doing cryptogenics training, Saturday training. This will not be really a training, more of a kind of a quick update to be ready for the major updates that's coming within the next week or so. What you should be doing to prepare. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over some of the new things that's on the blog. All of the new languages that's been added to the website. So that's only going to be quick, 15 to 20 minutes long. I'm going to be back to do a Facebook Live. I'll have the camera on. I'll probably be swimming because it's hot. And I'm going to share why I am so passionate about the crypto industry, why I resigned from or retired from the MLM industry to come into crypto and bring all of my skills with it. I'm going to forecast. Now, again, I am not a licensed financial advisor, but I'm going to share with you my vision, what I see taking place, and why I'm doing everything in my power to be as positioned as I possibly can. And why you should as well. And if you don't, what's going to happen. So I'm going to play Nostradamus. And I like doing it on Facebook because Facebook records everything you do. So it's going to pop up a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And I want to see what that looks like compared to what I said. So I'm going to do that later on and have some fun with it. We're going to go into dream mode. Have you ever heard of that term before? No, go into dream mode. Let's forecast. Let's see what would the future be like. So I'll do that later, and then I will probably do late night crypto talk tonight because I got to catch up on a lot of crypto news this week. And then it's game on. It's game on. Write down how much money do you want to make by the end of this year? Between now and the end of the year. What is your goal? Do you want to make an extra $30,000 between now and the end of the year? Do you want to make an extra $5,000 a month? Every month from now to the end of the year? Do you want to make $500,000 by the end of the year? $1 million by the end of the year? I got to tell you, in the crypto space, you can put whatever number you want out there. And it is achievable. It's just you having to figure out what you need to do to get it. So we'll talk about that as well. All right, everybody. Hope you guys have a great Saturday. Some people are still on their 4th of July vacations. I came back a day early. I wish I was still in San Francisco because, I mean, damn, 116 degrees? Really? I woke up yesterday morning with a coat on and got back to LA. I'm like, what? Am I in Vegas? So, all right. Hope you enjoyed this. Crypto Talk is good being back connected to the world again. And it is game on. Guys, have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.
Crypto Gen X.